Welcome everybody. It's the Poinsettia Community Park Phase 4 pre-bid meeting. We have our great team online. My name is Kasia Trojanowska. I'm the Parks Planning Manager at Parks Rec. We have next to me Tim Selke, Park Services Manager. We have also our great project manager, Barb Kennedy. And Steve Didier, who is going to be our municipal project manager for the construction phase. We have Graham Jordan, who is actually managing this entire bidding process, and he will be managing any questions on this project. We have our principal landscape architect, JT Barr, who is representing our designer of record. And we have our construction managers from Schneider CM, Robert Lyles and Robert Hawley. So welcome everybody. And I will give it back to Barb right now to kind of go over project overview.
Okay, JT, I think we're going to go ahead and pass it off to you.
Excellent.
I'm sorry, I'm going to pass it off to you, and let me stop sharing this screen.
Oh, here we go. I'm in.
And if you could give me Barb permission, there we go.
Yes.
All right.
Dog park in Encinitas.
Okay. All right. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
And it is the park
Hope
project.
they can't hear me.
We have the
All
right.
right. Well, we'll touch base on that.
Yes, Barb, you can see the screen?
Yes, we can see it.
Excellent. Great. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I'd like to give you a brief overview of the proposed improvements at Poinsettia Park Phase 4. Improvements are going to be occurring within an existing park environment. We have a series of improvements, including the addition of a new parking lot located here with a new comfort station and a new dog park that's located just to the south. There will be civil improvements for the parking lot, including the new parking lot, the water quality treatment area, some low stem walls to support that water quality treatment area. There will also be an extension of the storm drain to the north and the loop road within the park to connect to the existing storm drain infrastructure. There is, as we move to the south, the dog park area, which includes the fenced dog park. There will be grading throughout this area and another BMP or water quality treatment area that is located in the lower left-hand corner. Lighting will be added within these new scope areas. So we will have parking lot lighting and pedestrian lighting that will connect to the existing lighting service within the park. Lighting will also be provided around the perimeter of the dog park and within the plaza space with a series of lights connected to a prefabricated shade sail structure. And the power will ultimately be pulled from the south from the existing comfort station through the existing conduit and distributed to the new improvements. We have the prefabricated comfort station, which we provided by the city, but ultimately constructed and delivered to the city by the selected contractor. It also includes a picnic area directly adjacent. To the south in the dog park area, it will be a turf dog park. There will be the sort of gathering plaza that will connect out to the main spine of the existing park with off-leash areas for both the small and large dogs. This is a picnic area. It will also have lighting, as I mentioned, in addition to a power outlet to support any events that may occur. There are existing trees that we will want to make sure that we're sensitive to and protect those throughout the duration of construction within this area. We will also be irrigating all of the new improvements, the new landscape areas, which consists of reclaimed water throughout the project. And those will again be connecting to the existing irrigation system within the project. And likewise, we will have new plantings throughout the project that are consistent with previous phases of improvements throughout the park. And that captures the primary scope elements within the project. Back to you.
Okay, thank you, JT.
Because
And-
most of people going to. Was that we're going to?
Rebid it, to subs or internal? I don't know yet, I haven't reviewed. the scope. I did want to go back to, we're not gonna put it back out on bid.
Mute, everybody, and just let the speakers.
So,
Yeah.
so again, I think my vague knowledge is in the way they had it planned, they were gonna do one restroom remodel. There's a couple buildings on this office complex. They were gonna focus on one of the buildings as proposed.
Whoever's currently talking on the call, we can hear you. Could you mute yourself, please? Thank you.
So we can get back to the agenda now. Let's see, Graham, can you please take it from 2B?
I certainly can. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this mandatory pre-bid meeting. My name is Graham Jordan. I am the contract administrator that will be handling things through the bidding phase and through contract execution. So real simple, it's just going to be fairly quick. There's a couple things I'd really like to highlight, but obviously straightforward. The engineer's estimates there are just almost $1.9 million. Public Works project prevailing wage will be required with certified payroll reports. The license requirement is the A general engineering. We've had a few inquiries already about the B license. It is not going to be accepted. A license is the required license for this project. Currently, construction hours are Monday through Friday, 7 to 4. And again, the park's going to be open during this time. So I think that's pretty generous. There's also residential all around the park. So that's pretty generous. 200 working days. It's based on the low bid on Schedule A. And as was previously mentioned by JT, the city is going to provide the Romtech restroom and trellis for the contractor to install. Very important, all inquiries, please send them in writing to me. The cutoff date is May 3rd, and we will get the addendum out the week later. Bids are due 18th of May at 11 a.m. Very, very important. Everybody must be registered with Planet Bids in order to submit a bid. I suggest registering now so that you can get any addenda that are published to the bid. And I'd also like to mention, because I get this question a lot, there will be no sign-up sheet for this pre-bid meeting. All right, every bidder is going to be required to sign the certification sheet saying that which I believe, if our memory serves me correctly, is page 22 or 26 of the bid documents. Everybody's going to have to sign that. So people that aren't here now can view this at a later date. So we do not know who all has viewed it. We do not have a mandatory pre-bid meeting list. So there's no need to worry about signing up. Just sign the certification form is all we're requiring from you. With that said, I believe, yeah, I can pass it back to you, Barb. I think that's everything I have.
Okay, great. Yes. So now Schneider CM, can you please take the next few items, I think down to number 10.
I can. This is Robert for Schneider CM. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Reason I can't tell if I'm on there. All right. Let's see. So the next piece is our SWIP. The notice of intent will be issued. Once you get your SWIP plan and everything in and filed, you guys have to do a SWIP plan for the site. The city will file the notice of intent. You guys have to get all the SWIP plan together first so that it can be submitted. Job maintenance, water pollution control, it's your typical BMPs. We are in a park too, so there's a lot of just maintaining the water leaving out on the sidewalks and whatnot as well. It requires a tier 3 SWIP plan. And again, there's site drainage requirements, and you guys will do that specifically for the staff. The next piece is permits, any city and county state permits and fees and licenses that are necessary. The city permits will be issued through the project PM and the building department, but everything else county that's required, you guys are required to get done. All California OSHA requirements will be followed on this project. So anything that has to do with trenching and hoisting, things like that will all be required. On to submittals. They'll be submitted through Schneider CM, and then they'll be distributed from there to the different parties. Typical consecutive numbering, you guys will be required also to have a submittal register to track all these, and each one will have to have a transmittal with it. Pre-construction photos are required. Usually a video is better to walk around and get it turned in for anything that's existing at the park that isn't per plan or just damaged concrete, things like that. Public and worker safety, there is no storage of hazardous materials on site. Equipment that needs to be fueled, things like that needs to be brought in daily and used. Also, we'll just need any of your hazardous material logs for any glues, things like that. But the site shouldn't have any hazardous material stored at it. Trench safety is also, again, as we said, per OSHA. We do have storm drain. If there's any shoring required, that will be on you guys to make sure that you get that shoring signed by a engineered system. COVID-19 as well, the awarded contractor will have to comply with the County of San Diego Health Department and the requirements for COVID-19. Lab and materials is provided by the city. It's coordinated through Schneider, the site inspectors, so that it can be scheduled. It needs to be 48 hours in advance. We also like it to show up on your 3-week look aheads so that everybody's aware when we're going to need the material testing. Job site access and staging. Staging area and location will have to be designated on your SWIP plan. You guys also have to have routing to the project and what they call it, a haul permit for coming and going to the site. There'll be a haul route that's required to be turned in and approved. You'll also be required in this project to have a Class A field office on site. That can be coordinated where that goes and what its requirement. Usually that also includes the weekly owner meeting area, whether it's a conference room in the trailer or some other accommodation. But there's nowhere at that park to do it inside, so the contractor will be providing that. They'll also be in that facility. That building is required to have video conferencing. Since we know that with COVID, we're not going to want a lot of group site meetings. This is a newer requirement, so make sure you guys are prepared for internet to the site and video conferencing equipment in that site office so that we can limit the number of people that need to come out for site meetings. Any questions so far? That was kind of a lot. See if anybody's got any questions before I roll the next one. All right, other considerations, the park will be open during construction. So keeping a perimeter fence up at all times and maintaining safe access and work areas and loading areas is critical at this park. There's hundreds, if not thousands of people that come through this park some days, especially when there are events, special events like the TGIF concerts. And during those events, you guys won't be able to work afternoon, and they are spaced out, but we'll put those on the 3-week look ahead and on the critical path schedule for the project as well. And anybody have any questions on those items before I turn it back over? No questions? I know my video was saying it was breaking up. You guys can still hear me, right?
Yes.
Yes, I have a question. Will there be a schedule of a list of the scheduled events for the duration of the project before
Yeah.
bid time?
Yes, there are published events. They're all advertised, so you guys will have plenty of notice, and those will be incorporated into your schedule.
Okay.
Same with public holidays, it'll be incorporated in.
Okay, Graham, I think back to you for 11 and 12.
Back to me and make sure, right, I unmuted myself, right? Okay, very good. So the pre-bid substitution requests, right, make sure you do them in accordance with the technical specifications that are listed here in the agenda, section 002600. Please get those in as early as possible. If it's something that you feel is going to, materially affect your submittal, then get those to me by that May 3rd deadline, and we can answer that as well via the addendum with the Q&A. And as I mentioned earlier, all questions in writing to me by that May 3rd deadline. We will get those answers all out to you. Are there any questions at this point on the bid process? Short and sweet, Barb. I don't know what else. Did I miss anything?
I don't think so. That I guess maybe just the one other item is that this bid does have a requirement to show technical ability and expertise in constructing the pre-engineered restroom structure. So that is something that you will need to submit separately.
Yes, and it's also a requirement, so you won't be able to submit your bid via Planet Bids without that documentation.
Okay, I think that wraps it up. We will be posting this on YouTube channel, and Graham will be sending that link out a little bit later on today or tomorrow.
Can you please explain the history of why this is a rebid?
Yeah, I can address that if you want, Barb.
Yes.
Yeah, there were some issues with what Barb was just speaking about in terms of the requirement for showing that either the prime or the sub who's going to do the install on the Romtech restroom has the required experience. So we made sure that we called that out this time. There's like I said, there's a sheet that you'll have to fill out with that experience. So this is just cleaned it up a little bit. That's all. Does that answer your question?
It does, thank you.
Hey, Barb, this is Robert again with Schneider.
Yes.
Does anyone have any questions on that requirement? Do we want to go over that, or is everybody pretty clear?
I think we can probably take the questions in writing and then respond back to everybody that's registered on Planet Bids. Okay, I think that wraps it up. I don't see any more questions. So thank you all for attending. Make sure you document that you've attended this session. That's something that will need to be required when you upload your bid docs. Okay. All right. I think we can close out this meeting.
Good, thank
Good,
you.
thank you.